7. Good outside the switch. Doncic goes all
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite players, or I already know he's going to be one of my favorite players, especially in the NBA. His name is Alperen Şengün, a beast overseas in Turkey, and I really think NBA teams or scouts or just the GMs really overthought Şengün when it came to just evaluating him. Yes, he doesn't have the best of athleticism. He does have a lack of jump shots. Some people are really concerned. Is he going to be a 4? Is he going to be a 5? Because some people listed him at like 6'9". Some people listed him at 6'10". But we're talking about someone who played in the third best league in the world, like played up against like former NBA players. I believe there was over 10 former NBA players in his league. He put up production, or he put up stats, extremely great footwork, and I can't wait to talk about what he's done with 3 summer league games so far under his belt. I know he hasn't played up against like all-star competition or future Hall of Famer type of competition, but I can't wait to talk about in this video what I really like, some things he has to work on. But let me know down below your thoughts. Do you think the Rockets had the best draft, drafting a guy of Usman Garuba? You ended up with an Alperen Şengün. You also ended up with Josh Christopher and Jalen Green. Jalen Green has that type of potential. We may look back in like 10 years or 5 years, 10 years around that, just a random year at the top of my head, or a random certain amount of years, we may look back and be like, how is he not the #1 overall pick? I'm personally not going to say that because Cade Cunningham was the safe prospect during this time, and I still think he's going to be a beast of a player. But if you end up enjoying this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and click that subscribe button for more content, and let's get right into it, y'all. Getting into one of my favorite things about Şengün is his competitiveness. In my opinion, if you want to be one of the best players in the world, you got to have that drive, you got to have that competitiveness. Just like you just are this freak of nature out there on the court. At least you have that mindset that like no one could stop me. You think of Michael Jordan, you think of Kobe Bryant, you think of the former Knick, Patrick Ewing. They gave it their all when they're out there on the court. And when you watch Şengün, he plays extremely hard. He goes 110% literally every single possession. Like, he tries to save a ball from out of bounds, and he may not be the best of athlete in the world, even though I do think he's a good enough athlete. This dude does not give up on the boards. He's extremely physical. He does a great job positioning himself with his body. It's just truly just amazing watching him play basketball, because you watch him play, you're like, that dude gives a shit. That dude loves the game of basketball. You just get that type of vibe from Şengün. He's not afraid to pull out certain moves in his arsenal, like even translating over to the NBA level. I love that he's not afraid. Like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they express their emotions, but then you look at an Eli Manning, Kawhi Leonard. I kind of went in a different sport with Eli Manning there, but it was just an example of like, you could still be competitive, but also not express it, because Kawhi Leonard, he actually did express it when he hit that like double doink or that big time shot up against the Philadelphia 76ers, or several doinks, because that was crazy. And you see Eli Manning throws a perfect touchdown pass like back in his prime, like literally just nothing phases him at all. But that's what I love about Şengün. He's not phased. He's a true competitor. He plays extremely physical, and I think that's a great trait to have. Moving on to his patience, I know he's not playing up against like future Hall of Famers, NBA All-Stars right now, but patience is such a key thing. Like, how are they going to translate over from like the collegiate level overseas? Like, is the speed of the NBA going to be too much for him? And like I just said, Şengün played in the third best league in the world of the Turkish league up against former NBA players, and I really wonder if he ever got some wisdom behind the scenes from these former NBA players. But when I watch him out there on the court, he is extremely great patience. It doesn't look like the game is too fast for him. Again, this is just the summer league, and this isn't the real NBA. But even like some rookies have come out and said in interviews that there is still a transition even in summer league when it comes to the speed and physicality of the NBA, because these are grown men, and Şengün kind of had that advantage of playing up against some of the best competition in the world, playing up against just like professionals, and being coached harder than maybe some of these college players. You could say you kind of have to take it easy on them, but there is no difference of really treating Şengün in a way. He had to really get used to being treated like an adult, which he is. He's 18 or 19 years old now, but there was like players older on his team as well, so he didn't really take it personal if the coach really got frustrated with him and all that. But his patience is just extremely extremely amazing. Like, there was one play, he was in the post, he was just posting up. Most of the time when it's a rookie from college, unless you're a truly special talent, they'll rush a hook shot or take a terrible shot. But this dude was extremely patient in the post. He waited for the play to develop, and he like faked a shot in the air, and I believe he dumped it down to Jalen Green. And his footwork is just amazing as well. Like, if you watched him play for the Turkish league, you saw him play like overseas, his footwork's amazing. He loves using that drop step. There was one play, he was handling it outside on the perimeter, spin move, got to the cup. We'll see if his handle is good enough to really translate over to the NBA level. It does look sloppy at times, but he does have potential in that department that we'll really get to. But just his patience, he's a truly special player, and he's not afraid. You could just tell, for someone that's 19 years old and is going to continue to get better, I think that's an extremely great trait to have. But again, he still hasn't played his official real NBA game. I think's really important to touch base on is that he knows his limitations, and I think that's a very important thing to have. I know there's so many NBA players or so many players coming from college that they still think they're that guy. They're going to go out there and they just think their huge role, they're going to end up being this NBA superstar. They're not really humbled yet. But the thing I love about Şengün's game, specifically on the defense side of the basketball, is he knows his limitations. Like, he'll at times look to get that big time block when he thinks he's capable of it, but he knows he's not this above the rim, high vertical jumping athlete. So when someone's working downhill, he knows when to play straight hands up fundamental defense. He knows he has solid height. He knows he has a solid wingspan. It's kind of undersized for his position, but he knows that he's not the fastest, not the highest of jumping athlete, so he knows what to do on the defense side of the basketball, which I really do respect, because you could just tell if he would look to block shots that were really out of his comfort zone, he would get into foul trouble, but he doesn't because he knows his limitations, and I think that is huge. But there is going to be troubles on the defense side of the basketball when there is guys faster than him, more physical, taller, because you could say he's kind of undersized if he does play the center position. He's listed at like 6'9", 6'10", but the good thing about today's NBA, there really is no positions anymore. It's positionless basketball, but they may experiment with him at the 4, at the 5. We'll see what goes on to happen. But he plays physical. Like, he's not afraid to battle in the post up against someone, but he can get caught flat-footed outside on the perimeter. Like, he has shown promise of guarding the perimeter in summer league and overseas, but due to having kind of an undersized wingspan, that has definitely hurt him. But we'll see how he adjusts to like the speed and quickness of the NBA, the athleticism. But he definitely does have a high basketball IQ, and he does a solid job of really defending that roll man, or just he really excels at guarding that pick and roll. Like I've heard the Enes Kanter comparison. Like, I've made that comparison if his defense doesn't translate, and the defense and the speed of the NBA is way too like fast for him, but I feel like he's such a high IQ, and he's gonna really work his you-know-what off on defense because he plays extremely hard, and he's an extremely smart player. He's just very aware of where to be out there on the court. But no doubt about it, he's gonna have moments, even if he plays hard, that someone's too fast for him or too physical. But he has capability of guarding outside on the perimeter because he's pretty mobile. But there's times he can get caught flat-footed, but that can be fixed with keeping his feet active, playing defense with his feet more than his hands, because sometimes he can play with his hands too much. But I do think he has promise on that side of the basketball, but I don't think he's going to be great. And now getting into like his finishing around the rim, like I said, he's not like a Dwight Howard or Orlando Magic in his prime. He's not a Joel Embiid around the rim. I would say a better comparison for him around the rim. I'm not saying he's this guy. I'm not saying he's a Nikola Jokic. I'm not saying he's a Domantas Sabonis, but he has an extremely soft touch. He has good dexterity. Like he does have potential to shoot it from the outside because he's shown promise from the free throw line, even though you could say he has interesting mechanics, but he could finish with either hand. It's not like he can't finish with his right or left hand. This is the great thing about players coming from overseas, playing up against professionals, just getting this certain training, is that their fundamentals are so good, at least if they're coached up properly. But you just see him use that drop step. You see sometimes, like at least overseas, he had a moment that he would shoot a fadeaway jumper. I believe I only saw it like a couple times on tape, on the tape I was able to find, but I just love his soft touch around the basket. I think he will definitely develop like a little baby hook, but that up and under move he has in his arsenal, I just love his touch around the basket. I love his fundamentals, and I think it's definitely going to translate well to the next level. It depends who's guarding him though, because there's sometimes going to be a high flying athlete that has potential to block his shot, like a Joel Embiid. For sure, because that's a special talent on the defense side of the basketball. You have an Anthony Davis as well. Like, what if there's one of those switches or Anthony Davis is guarding him? but the reason why he's able to get his shot off is because he has so much finesse, because he has such great footwork to really lose the defender. But I really am in love with the soft touch around the rim. And now getting back into the competitiveness side of the basketball here, or just the game in general, I love how physical he plays. I love his rebounding. I believe when I averaged it out, he's averaging 12 rebounds per game in summer league. I know it is just summer league, but when you don't have the best of athleticism and when you're just a solid athlete, which isn't a bad thing at all, I actually do think he could excel or be a solid player at the next level without big time athleticism, because when you don't have the best of athleticism in the world, you definitely need high basketball IQ, and that's what he brings to the table with his fundamentals, with his smarts. But him being so physical, knowing how to box out, really knowing how to position himself is just absolutely amazing. He gets rebounds not just based off his IQ, not just based off of boxing out, but because of how strong he plays. And you could say he even has to get stronger, but he just plays so hard. It's ridiculous how he's able to get so many rebounds. He just plays so hard. He plays like a freaking dog, and I respect that so much from Alperen Şengün. Now let's get into kind of the potential things here. He has proven that he could run the floor. Actually, that's not a potential thing. That is something I think he could really bring to the next level due to conditioning. You could tell he's really conditioned himself well, even from overseas. He lost some weight, so now he has healthier weight and healthier strength, but he's proven to run the floor very hard, which is something you really need when you're playing with a high-flying athlete of Jalen Green, a guy of Josh Christopher that can freaking push the pace. We know Kevin Porter Jr. has some athleticism. We'll see how it meshes with Christian Wood and all those pieces, Jayshawn Tate, but he can definitely run the floor hard. The potential side of things is definitely the ball handling, because he's proven he likes to run. There was a couple plays in summer league, he would snag the ball and dribble it across half court. He's let's freaking run, let's run. And he likes to set up his teammates as well. He recognizes when he gets the defense to collapse, he can kick it outside of the perimeter. He's just such a truly special talent. It is so unique watching him play, but sometimes he tries to do a little too much, and I believe he had a 5 turnover game, but besides that, he didn't really turn over the ball that much when it came to summer league. But he has very good vision. He could fit passes into very tight windows, and if he ever gets his ball handling to average, and I already think the passing is there, it's just making the right decisions, I think he could be a very good player at the next level for sure. Now getting into his jump shot. When I watch his jump shot, you could say he kind of has interesting mechanics. I believe he's made 1 or 2, a couple threes when it came to summer league. The one I really can visualize or remember in my head is when the shot clock was winding down and he made it from the NBA logo. He had no choice but to hit it. I believe Josh Christopher gave him the ball, and I believe he got kind of hyped when he made it from beyond the arc. But he has proven because he's so physical, he's proven to get to the free throw line and shoot it so well from the free throw line, or at least he proved it in his last year of overseas, shooting it at an 80% clip. But I love that he talks to the ball. I'll need to count how many seconds he takes at the free throw line next time when he does that routine, but I really do like it. I believe it's a Turkish prayer. That's what I believe he's saying to the ball. I'm not sure what he's specifically saying in Turkey. We don't really know, because there's not he's not mic'd up or anything like that, even though I think that would be really cool hearing someone in a different language, and if there was a translator telling us what he's really saying. But I do think he has potential. He's a soft touch around the rim. He can shoot it well from the free throw line. So I definitely do think there's potential there with his shot, and he has pick and pop potential, because I just love the hard screens he sets. I love how hard he rolls to the basket. We'll see what position he really is at the next level. We'll see if they put him at the 4 or the 5. I think that's going to be an interesting pairing with Christian Wood. But let me know down below your thoughts and analysis, and peace out, y'all.